What's going on, Solid Steppers? It's Miss Ward coming to you with the truth per usual. What I want to talk about today is being focused and staying focused and being clear about it. No time in your life should you ever, and I repeat ever, have to beg to have a seat at the table. And the reason I'm having this conversation is because, many people ask me about conferences and events. And, I think everyone should be exposed to the ASTEs of the world and, the other events from the residential side to the commercial side. I feel like you should be clear about the lay of the land, but I also feel that you need to be very clear about what's a reflection of you and what's not. I'm one of those people, I never go where I'm tolerated, I go where I'm celebrated. And the reason I'm that way is because very early in my life and in my career in the service industry, way before appliance repair, I would find myself as being the only woman, the only person of color, and all the other boxes that I check. And it wasn't really frustrating for me because I was blessed enough to be surrounded by people who were curious about how did I get to this position, or they had never met anybody like me. And that was cute for a second, but it's 2021. And I feel that every aspect of the world should be diverse, just because if industries are not diverse, they are losing out on having experiences and input from the people that really are going to be dominating the world when it comes to what the world is going to look like. We're no longer in a place where it's predominantly this or predominantly that. And I feel like, a lot of times when I go to some of the appliance events, it's still a good old boy situation. I'm not knocking that because, I figured if I was a certain, way in my life and I had been raised in a certain environment and, this is one of the last strongholds and I, feel comfortable in, and I'll be trying to hold on to it too, I guess. But, I've always been about changing and flexibility. And, the reason why I'm the way I am and can survive in different environments because I actually came up in adversity, even through my career, because I was always the only one or the first. And, that's why I just want to really talk to people about being clear about going places where you are celebrated, not tolerated. Like recently, there was an issue at University of North Carolina, in the Carolinas, with a journalism professor that was an award-winning journalist, and it was time for her to come up for tenure. And all the people who didn't look like her, who went through the same process, had no problem getting, that position, that tenure position. It was a position that was reserved for journalists who worked in the field so that they could give back to their alma maters and give back to the students coming in. And for some reason, it took them 14 years to certify her, and there still was the jury's out. So, when they came around to the point where they were going to give her the position, she kindly declined it and went to Howard University, where she was celebrated. And people wonder why HBCUs and places like this still exist. They exist because at the end of the day, we need everybody to be included, And don't even get me on this critical race theory situation. Don't even start. Because the reality is, half the people in America don't know real American history. They damn sure don't know global world history. But I digress. At the end of the day, what you got to realize is that do not go where you are tolerated. Go where you are celebrated. Basically it was a movie that was made many years ago called The Spook Who Sat by the Door. I think everybody needs to see it. And I just basically feel that, you go get the information you need, you study, work on your skill and become the best, so that no matter what, you can never be denied because you're not only capable of doing the job, you have the skill set and the resources. And the beautiful thing about accumulating resources in the midst of adversity, not only do you appreciate them, your skill set is much sharper than others, that you can see around the corner. You know, I'm sitting back watching people running businesses the old way, they're not changing with the times. And there's nothing I can say to that, because everyone has their journey. But getting back to going to where you're celebrated, not tolerated, that's the answer to the question that many people ask me, why am I not at certain conferences? I have no issue with the conference. I think that it serves a great purpose. I remember when I went to the last ASTI conference in 2019, before COVID, I was hyped, you know. I met two of my brothers there, DCNF and Slick, and we actually went to lunch together. And we were all just starting our businesses, and we still have that bond today. You know, I was able to get in the rooms and look at how some of the big boys were moving. You know, I got a chance to meet Master Samurai, you know, and his family. I met David and his family. Well, David, excuse me, not his family. And, you know, Olivia, the gentleman from up in New York, Long Island. You know, and I'm really pleased to say that I had an opportunity to meet these people. But at the end of the day, you got to realize, you know, you have to build your own table. And I think that people don't, when you are seated at the table, that means, you know, you don't know what. You know what I mean? So if they don't want you, they're not comfortable with that. You know, appreciate that and respect the choice. And that's just basically how I feel about it. You know, and I really hope this answers the questions, because a lot of people seem to have some questions about that. To me, it's plain and simple. Go celebrate it, not tolerate it. Be blessed.